Okay, my friend, let's jump into it. Pricing your expertise as a consultant, how much to charge. So, we're going to talk about setting and raising your consulting fees. And this is a beginner's guide. So, if this is something you've been thinking about, you've been considering moving to a consultant or a contractor, and you're not quite sure what to charge or how to go about calculating fees, this is a beginner's guide to doing so. A lot of the questions that I get when I'm working with professionals that are transitioning into the consultant field, or they're starting their own knowledge practice, the most asked question is, what should I charge? The other one is, how can I raise my consulting fees? So those that have been in the game for a minute and they want to know, okay, how do I go about raising those fees? So let's talk about that. And this is for if you're a new consultant or if you've been in the game for years. Pricing your consulting services is one of the most challenging aspects. So myself, I've been in the consultant space for years. I'm even in as a recruiter. Most of the years that I was in talent acquisition, the bulk of those years was as a consultant. And even when I took a full-time role, I went back to consultancy because that's what I was accustomed to, and that's what I like. There's freedom in that. And then what we're talking about today, you can charge whatever you want with that. So I've successfully increased my fees over time, and I've gathered valuable insights on what works and what doesn't. This guide will not only help you determine how much to charge for your consulting services, it will also help you raise your fees if you choose to. So let's go ahead and dive into our first consulting fee formula, which is a straightforward option for beginners. The first method is the hourly method. This formula is when you charge by the hour for your consulting services. You set an hourly rate, track your hours, and then bill your client by the hour. This simple, easy method is great for beginners who are working on their first few consulting projects. However, if you've developed deep expertise in your field, I recommend you don't use this method. And the reason why I say that is if you have deep knowledge, like I have 3 decades in talent acquisition, going on 4, I have what is considered the expert level, and you may have that as well. So you don't want to start off with charging hourly. And I'll get into the other method, which is the project-based method. That tends to work best if you have this deep knowledge. So just something to consider. But also, if you're new to the space and you just want to get your feet wet and you want to learn more about how to charge, the hourly method is a great way to start, because everybody has to start somewhere, regardless of how much experience or knowledge that you have. So this is an option, and you can also get great money doing the hourly method. So it's up to you and what you feel most comfortable doing in terms of your fees and the methodology of how you charge. But in thinking about how to begin, it's either or, right? I'm new to this space. I want to just learn. Let me just get my feet wet. I'll start with the hourly method just so I can build my book of business, build my clients, build my portfolio, and then I'll move into the project base. That's what I did. If you're ready to jump in it and jump out there, you can start with the latter, which is project based. So just some context there. You don't have to be stuck with one method. So the hourly method is for setting your hourly rate. The first thing you want to do is just research what the average salary for your role is. I know you know what you've been getting paid. Do some research, because you want to be able to say to your client, when you're having these conversations, that industry standard is X. So you can look that up on Google. You can look up the average salary for a position similar to what you'll be consulting in. For example, you can search for an average salary for a senior marketing manager. You might find that the average salary is $98,000 per year. So you'll just note that down. You can also go to Glassdoor, salary.com, and I know some job boards will give you the salary range as well for each position. So we'll use this as an example, the senior marketing manager. Once you get that average salary, you want to now convert it into an hourly wage. So you would input your salary, your average salary. For example, we're using the $98,000. Next, you're going to set the hours per week. So in this example, we're going to use 20. So as a new consultant, you're likely not going to work 40 hours a week, because you'll need time to secure clients and manage your business. So you may be starting out in a part-time basis and you're doing, so many hours per day. And so you can start out with 20 hours per week, or maybe you're doing this on the side and you're transitioning into a consultancy model for yourself. After you determine the hours per week, then you want to set the weeks per year. And I chose 48 because typically we're not working 52 weeks out of the year because of vacation and holidays and just working fewer weeks, right? Then you can use a converter calculator, and I'll link that below. And you can put in this example here. You enter the $98,000 annual salary, and it might convert to approximately $102 per hour based off of the hours per week and the weeks per year. It will convert that for you. Now, using that, you want to round typically in increments of $25. So for instance, if you calculated the rate of 102 per hour for the senior marketing manager, you might round it to $100 per hour. This rounded figure will be your starting hourly fee. Now here's some additional tips for adjusting your fees, because remember at the top we said we're going to talk about how to increase your fee. So it's common for new consultants to set their rates too low, particularly when charging by the hour. After completing each project, consider increasing your hourly rate by $25. Over time, you can gain more experience and a steady client base. You might find that charging by the hour is not the most effective method, like I shared earlier. You can explore other pricing strategies such as charging per project or on a retainer basis. Now, we won't get into the retainer basis because you typically want to use that model when you already have established clients and you have a portfolio that you can also share in your proposal with your clients that you're pursuing. So in this particular example, using the hourly rate, to increase that hourly rate as you get clients and they're satisfied and you can showcase what you've done, how it came out, your results, then you can start increasing your rate. And that's what I did over time. Back in the 90s early 2000s, I'll say, like around 2000, 2001, my first one was with Coca-Cola. And from there, back then I didn't know any better. I did increments of $5. And so I was able to increase it over time. And so by following these steps, you can establish an initial consulting rate and adjust it as you gain experience and confidence in your services. So now we're in the, technical, logical age, and you can definitely increase your salary. Back then, the increments that I chose of $5 was in line with where we were as a society. But now, giving all of the more technical skills that's needed, you can definitely raise that now to $25. And I've seen even $30, $40 increases over time. So that was the hourly rate method. Now let's look at the project-based method. One issue with charging by the hour is that it creates uncertainty for your client about the final cost. This uncertainty can make clients hesitant to move forward. Using a project-based pricing method eliminates this uncertainty because your client knows the total cost up front. This approach is particularly effective for beginner and intermediate consultants, although it is a bit more complex than hourly billing. So let's look at how to set your consulting fees using the project-based method. When you're thinking about this methodology, you want to think about the questions that you receive from your client. And again, if this is something you want to know more about, you can schedule some time and we can definitely talk more about this if you want to transition into a consultant-based model in your career. Now, in thinking about this particular method, when I say uncertainty, they may be thinking about, well, I'm not really sure how long this is going to take. I'm not sure, if there'll be some bumps in the road and, all the different components of this particular project. So they may be more comfortable using the project-based method. And there's a way when you do your discovery to determine which methodology would work best. So for the project-based method, the first thing you want to do is list the deliverables. Identify everything your client will receive from the project. These are your inputs. Example, this is for a branding consulting project. So you'll list all the deliverables for a branding project. I need to research the designs. I need to analyze competing designs. I need to present the findings. I need to create 4 logos, and so on and so forth. So list out what the different deliverables would be for the project. Step 2 is to estimate the time for each of the deliverables. So this is why you want to write out each component of that project, of everything that you want to do, how long each task will take based on your past experience. If you're unsure, you can use an app like Toggle to track your time spent on similar tasks and add an extra hour or 2 to be safe. Now, I've used contractors in my business, and I use Toggle as a timekeeping system, and it works great. I'll also link that below. An example, the design themes, when I researched them, they take 6 hours. This is an example. I haven't done this. I'm just saying as an example. So it's going to take me 6 hours to do that. Competing design analysis, 4 hours for that. Presentation of results, 3 hours for that. 4 logos, it's going to take me 5 hours to do that. So that's the example of how you can put down your time for each of the tasks in the deliverables. Step 3, calculate the total hours and multiply by your hourly rate. Add up all the estimated hours for the project. Multiply the total hours by your hourly rate. So for example, if your hourly rate is $100 and the total time is 30 hours, then you take 30 hours times 100 and you have $3,000. Step 4, you want to add a buffer into your estimate. So you have your estimate of $3,000. Multiply the total amount by 1.5 to account for unforeseen extra work. Remember, I was sharing that earlier. Revisions and time spent on marketing. So for example, you multiply that by 1.5 and you have $4,500. Step 5, adjust the total fee. Review the calculated fee to ensure it feels fair and compensates you adequately for your work. Adjust the fee if necessary, ensuring you feel good about the compensation for the value you're providing. Here's a tip for experienced consultants, and we touched on this earlier. If you have a decade or more of experience, consider switching to a higher leverage pricing model, such as a retainer-based model or value-based pricing. Either approach can better reflect the value you provide and can often lead to higher earnings. In conclusion, setting your consulting fees is a crucial step in establishing your business and ensuring your work is valued appropriately. We've explored 2 effective methods, the hourly method and the project-based method. The hourly method is straightforward and easy to implement, making it an excellent choice for those just starting out. It allows for flexibility and is easy to adjust as you gain more experience and complete more projects. The project-based method eliminates client uncertainty and provides clear upfront costs, which can make clients more comfortable and willing to engage your services. While it requires more initial effort to estimate time and deliverables, it often leads to more satisfied clients and better project management. As you grow and gain experience, consider revisiting your pricing strategies. You might find that transitioning to value-based pricing or another advanced method better suits your evolving business and expertise. And if you need assistance with this, again, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to walk you through this. Let me know what you think about it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. Talk to you soon.